The night Valentina Reese lost everything didn't begin with fire or thunder. It began with a silence that felt like the world holding its breath. She sat alone in her penthouse office, surrounded by glass walls that reflected the glittering skyline of the city she once owned. The lights below looked like stars fallen from the sky, but tonight even they felt far away, unreachable. Her assistant had stopped answering. Her lawyers had vanished. Her board members, men and women she had built from nobodies into power players, had shut their doors in her face. And the news was a guillotine. Reese financial collapses under fraud allegations. Heiress Valentina Reese wanted for questioning. Investor coup removes Reese from control. And beneath each headline, the same message written in cruel, merciless language: she was finished. It wasn't me, she whispered to the empty room. It wasn't me. But the walls didn't answer. They didn't care that she was framed. They didn't care that she'd built her empire with her bare hands. They didn't care that her father's legacy, his name, his trust in her, was being dragged through mud she had never touched. She pressed her palms to the cold glass, breathing hard, her reflection haunting her. Messy hair, pale face, eyes swollen from tears she wasn't willing to admit she spilled. She had spent years being perfect. Perfect posture, perfect tone, perfect power. But tonight, she was something else entirely, hunted. When the noise from the lobby drifted up, shouts, boots, angry voices, Valentina's heart leapt into her throat. Were they police, reporters, hired thugs, or the men her former partner, Mason Dyer, likely sent to deliver a message: stay silent or disappear? She didn't wait to find out. She slipped out the private stairwell exit, hoodie pulled over her trembling frame, taking the emergency stairs 3 floors down until she reached the maintenance corridor. The storm outside was ruthless, slashing rain against the building like claws. Lightning flickered as she pushed through the exit door into the alley behind the skyscraper. She ran without direction, breath ragged, cold water seeping through her shoes. A billionaire running through an alley like a stray dog, she almost laughed at the irony. But terror choked the sound before it could form. Turning a corner, she slowed, chest tight. She leaned against a brick wall, gasping. The city felt different tonight. Angrier, darker, a beast with jaws waiting for her to slip. She heard footsteps. Behind her. Getting closer. She spun, scanning the shadows. Nothing. Just the dripping of water from rusted pipes and the distant hum of traffic. I'm paranoid, she whispered, though her pulse screamed otherwise. She forced herself forward. One step, then another, but the footsteps returned, faster now, echoing off the alley walls. She stopped. They stopped. Her throat closed as fear crawled through her like ice. She backed up slowly. Hello, she called out. No answer. She turned, and then froze. 3 men blocked the only exit. One leaned against the wall, cigarette dangling from his fingers. The second rolled his shoulders lazily, like he'd been waiting. The third stepped forward with a smile that made her stomach drop. Evening, sweetheart, she swallowed. I don't want any trouble. His grin widened. Too late for that. Before she could run, another grabbed her arm. Hard. Pain lanced up to her shoulder. She gasped, twisting. Let me go. Rain pelted her face as she fought, but the alley was narrow and her attackers were solid walls of muscle. The leader stepped closer, lifting her chin with the end of his cigarette. You're worth a lot right now, princess. Some people want you alive, but some wouldn't mind if you come back a little broken. Terror exploded in her chest. She kicked, clawed, desperate, but her breath shortened and the old fear she hadn't felt in years swallowed her whole. The fear of being helpless. The fear that no matter how powerful she became, she was still breakable. And then, a voice, calm and razor-sharp, cut through the storm. Let her go. All 3 men turned. A figure stood at the mouth of the alley, holding a battered umbrella in one hand and a janitor's work bag slung over his shoulder. He wasn't dressed like a hero. No suit, no armor, no badge. Just navy blue work clothes, soaked from the rain, and steady eyes that didn't waver even when 3 dangerous men stared him down. Or what? The leader spat. The janitor didn't answer. He dropped the umbrella. It clattered to the ground, echoing louder than the thunder. And then he moved. Fast. Not wild. Not sloppy. Controlled, lethal precision. One strike to the throat. One sweep of the leg. One elbow to the jaw. Valentina didn't even have time to gasp before two of the men hit the ground groaning. The third lunged, knife glinting, and the janitor twisted his wrist, sending the blade skidding across the asphalt. The man yelped and fled. The others scrambled after him. Silence returned, broken only by rain and Valentina's shaky breaths. The janitor stepped toward her slowly, hands raised in reassurance. "You're safe now," he said, voice softening. Up close, his features came into focus, dark hair plastered to his forehead, sharp jaw, warm eyes full of concern. Not fear, not greed, concern. "Are you hurt?" She opened her mouth, but her knees buckled. He caught her instantly, strong arms steady around her. "Easy. I've got you," he murmured. She clung to his shirt, trembling. Who are you?" His answer came just before everything went black around her. "Someone who won't let anything happen to you." Part 2. Valentina woke slowly, as if rising from deep water. The first thing she felt was warmth. A blanket tucked gently around her. The soft hum of an old space heater. The scent of cinnamon and something sweet cooking. When she opened her eyes, she didn't see glass walls or marble floors. She saw peeling wallpaper, a crooked bookshelf, and a tiny living room filled with mismatched furniture that somehow felt cozy instead of cheap. She blinked. Was she dreaming? Then she heard a small voice. "Dad, she's awake." She turned her head. A little boy, maybe 6, sat cross-legged on the floor with crayons scattered around him. Big brown eyes, curls sticking out in every direction, wearing a superhero t-shirt 2 sizes too big. He smiled at her like she was made of magic. "Hi, I'm Liam." Valentina opened her mouth, but her throat was dry. "Hello, Liam." A man came out from the kitchenette, holding a bowl of oatmeal. Her heartbeat quickened when she recognized him, the janitor. He looked different in the soft morning light. Less intimidating. More gentle. "Good morning," he said. "I'm Noah. Noah Hale." The name didn't ring any corporate bells. He wasn't a bodyguard she'd hired. Not a mercenary. Just a janitor who happened to be in the wrong alley at exactly the right time. Or maybe the right alley at the exact moment fate gave her one last chance. "I brought you here last night," Noah continued. "You fainted. Shock, I think." She sat up slowly. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause trouble." "You didn't," he said firmly. "You were in danger. I did what anyone should've." "That's not true," she murmured, her voice cracking. "People ran from me last night. Even the ones I trusted." Noah's eyes softened. He handed her the oatmeal. She hesitated. Billionaires didn't usually eat from chipped bowls in tiny apartments. But hunger overruled pride. She took a bite, and nearly sighed. "Warm, sweet, comforting. Dad makes the best oatmeal in the galaxy," Liam declared proudly. "He puts cinnamon because Mom used to say it smells like hugs." Noah froze for a second, a flicker of grief crossing his face before he masked it. "Liam, buddy, why don't you finish your drawing?" The boy nodded and scrambled back to the floor. Valentina swallowed. "Your wife passed away 3 years ago," Noah said quietly. "It's been just us since." Something in Valentina's chest tightened, but not with fear this time. Just quiet understanding. They didn't speak for a moment. Then Noah sat across from her, hands folded. "If you want to tell me what happened, I'm here." She didn't know why she trusted him. Maybe because he saved her without knowing who she was. Maybe because his apartment, though small, felt more like home than her penthouse ever had. Maybe because Liam kept peeking up at her, as if making sure she was okay. So she told him everything. The accusations, the betrayal, the threats, the realization that she had no one left. Noah listened without interrupting. When she finished, he didn't look shocked. He looked furious on her behalf. "You're being hunted," he said. "You can't go back out there yet." "I can't stay here," she whispered. "Your son, your job, you can stay," he said simply. "You're safe here." Valentina laughed bitterly. "Safe? I'm a walking disaster." "No," Noah said. "You're someone who deserves help." She shook her head. "Why? You don't even know me. He held her gaze steadily. I know what it looks like when someone is fighting alone. The room felt warmer suddenly, too warm. Too intimate. Over the next 2 days, Noah proved he wasn't just kind, he was brilliant. He analyzed her case files. Sorted through her digital records. Found inconsistencies she'd missed. He paced the room while Liam colored beside him, muttering about timestamps, forged signatures, hidden accounts. On the second night, Valentina stared at him in disbelief. You're not just a janitor. Noah hesitated. Before Liam was born, I worked as a crisis consultant for security firms. High-risk clients, high-stakes situations. You trained for this. Yes, he admitted, but after my wife died, I needed something stable. Something that let me be home for Liam. She understood instantly. He chose fatherhood over chaos. And yet, for her, he stepped right back into danger without hesitation. When they finally uncovered proof that Mason Dyer and 2 board members had orchestrated the entire collapse, Noah helped her plan everything. How to release the evidence, who to contact, how to stay hidden until it was safe. On the 3rd day, her name was cleared. The news exploded. Mason was arrested. The board crumbled. Investors begged for meetings, apologies, forgiveness. But Valentina didn't celebrate. She didn't return to her penthouse or her empire. She returned to Noah's door. Liam opened it with the same bright grin. Snow Princess. Dad said you might not come back, but I told him you would because heroes always do. Valentina laughed softly. Is your dad here? Noah appeared, drying his hands on a towel. When he saw her, his expression softened but stayed cautious. You got your life back, he said quietly. Yeah, she whispered, but I left something behind. She stepped closer, heart pounding. The world I had, it looked powerful. But it never felt safe. Not until you. Noah's breath caught. Valentina. You saved me in seconds, she whispered. But you healed me in days. And I don't want to walk away from that. Or from you. Liam peeked out from behind Noah, eyes wide. Dad, is she gonna stay for oatmeal? Noah laughed softly, a warm, rare sound. If she wants to. Valentina smiled, tears stinging her eyes. I do. And for the first time in her life, she chose something not for power, not for reputation, not for survival, but for a home made of cinnamon, crayons, and the courage of a single dad janitor who saved her when her whole world fell apart.